What up, everybody? It's the Build Different podcast. This is the pre-New Year's Eve special. Going back to kind of what we did last year is becoming a tradition now. Reflecting on the year that was 2023. And not only from a professional standpoint, Extropian standpoint, we're also doing a personal standpoint. The highs, the lows, in-betweens. Also just being real with the audience, you know what I mean? We talked about it before we even got on. Like, do we want to kind of talk about some of the negative things? But that's us as a company, is to always be real, to always be transparent. The goal is for people to learn from us. We're essentially a company that's showing you, the inside nuts and bolts of everything. So, being real at all times, being transparent, and just showing you the journey that we went on. You know what I mean? If we experience any lows, experiencing lows with us, because that is what makes the highs that we experience and we show via social media or via this podcast so much greater, because everything that we went through to get to where we are going to be end up going essentially. So with that being said, Sean, let's start on a personal level. Some of the things that you sought to accomplish personally, some of the things that you sought to make happen in your everyday life. How did that go in 2023?
Yeah, one of my main goals from last year was to move down to Florida prior to uh like this winter because I don't like winter, especially not in New Jersey. It's not fun. Um, that did not happen, which is a little bit of a bummer, but also, still, can't complain too much. I get to spend more time with family. I have friends up in New Jersey that don't want me to move, that are probably happy that I'm still here. So, I've really built a better community up here of friends, especially through like disc golf and, through friends of friends and family and stuff like that, I feel a lot happier being here, like with the people that I'm with than I did maybe like a year ago. Um, so there is a little bit more holding me here now than there was last year. So that's a high and a low. A high because I've made a new community, or like kind of built up my community a little bit better. A low because I know my community people that I have in Florida miss me a little bit. So but yeah, that was something. A high was one of my goals for disc golf for the year was to still be sponsored by Elevation, which I am, and one of my goals was to win a MA1, which is like the highest level of amateur disc golf tournament that you could be in, to win one of those, and I won
Mm-hmm.
one uh, like 2 weeks ago. So that was I snuck it in right before the finish line, so that was cool.
Yeah,
Big
you told me about
accomplishment
that one.
there.
Congratulations, by the way. Again, I told you over the phone. Congratulations, but I know that's was a big feather in your cap, so I'm
Yeah,
really happy
thank
with it.
you. And then yeah, other than that, I'm just I don't know if I lost as much weight as I would have wanted to, but there's always next year for that. So
Yeah,
we'll get working on it. The grind never stops. But
no.
Ricky, how about you? How about what are some of your personal ups, downs, highs, lows?
Um, Start with the lows. Yeah, because what I was doing is I listened to the podcast that we did, our first one of the year for 2023, and we all kind of put some things out there that we wanted to get done or accomplish. Getting back in shape was one of mine. So I wanted to get back to building from where I was pre 2020, pre pandemic, or whatever. Um, didn't really do that. I've here and there have gone. I did better than I did in 2022, but not to the degree that I wanted to. So that's, something that I'm emphasizing. I don't even want it to be a New Year's thing. It's a lifestyle thing. You know what I mean? Because that's where I was pre 2020. Was a lifestyle, eating, exercising. You know what I mean? Um, the highs. I think I grew as a person. Hopefully I grew as as a boss, as a leader, as a entrepreneur, as a founder. Hopefully, hopefully I've helped you learn and grow as well, and others on the team I've helped them learn and grow. I think still not fully there where I want to be as a leader, or you know, it's a continual thing. Like we said, the grind doesn't stop there, but um, yeah, I think my confidence has increased. My knowledge base has increased. I think we've both added tools to our tool belt that we didn't have last year. My big emphasis, which we'll talk about on the business side, was, um, just being more confident in speaking the lingo and getting to learn to communicate in these different circles. I think I've done a little, grown in that aspect. Um, there was something else I was gonna say that I think it was kind of a high. But yeah, on a personal level as well. It's like I love this. My inner circle shrinks every year. I talk about that all the time. You know what I mean? You start um having friends and like even family that you grow closer to, and then maybe some people that you kind of kick out of your inner circle. Maybe they're not good for your growth or your spirit or your just your energy. But I've always I always tell you I'm a big kid myself, and so like always friends, kids, always I get close to them. You know what I mean? Hang out with them. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're more fun to hang out with than the adults. But yeah, I got named a godfather, and shout out to little Roberto, Bebito. Um, it was a big moment for me this year, like especially the way they did it, because I went over there, kept like asking me to come and hang out or whatever. I finally came, and then they handed me the Godfather book, and I'm like, well, they handed me like at first I thought it was a Bible. I'm like, I guess they handed me a new Bible or whatever. Maybe they think my journey with God isn't is I'm not on the right path with God and everything. So they handed me a new Bible or something, and then I looked at it closer. It said Godfather. I'm like, they handed me a disc set of the Godfather. I'm like, wait a minute, she's pregnant. They're handing me this Godfather thing. I opened it, and it was this. It was kind of shocking, actually, to be given that responsibility. And people's children are their worlds, and if they trust you to be, the caretaker, like if anything happened to them, that's kind of what you are as the Godfather, is that person that steps in. For them to trust me that way was big. And then obviously he was born in.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. And he was born in early October. I went to the hospital the next day, held him for the first time. It was incredible, and I've been going back and visiting him since. And yeah, that was a really high for me. And thank you to Ron and Norelli for that. Um, because that no kids of my own. That's like an added responsibility for me to be a good mentor to him, and um, be a good example, and also if anything happened to be in a good place to help him out and help him take care of him and stuff like that. So, until I have my own kids or you have kids that I can, be like a big brother to Godfather, whatever. You know what I mean? Not Godfather necessarily. You don't have to name me Godfather, but like a mentor, like somebody that's there for them. And other people, other friends, other family members. Um, you know, he's kind of the one. My nephews were all grown up now, and then my great nephews. Oh, well, that's another one. And my other friend, Leonard, who was on the podcast, the Raiders fan and um, Notre Dame fan. He has his daughter as well. So there's some kids that I don't have any of my own, but ones that I look out for and try and visit and take care of. So that was a really high. I did get to go back to England this year. It wasn't for the best circumstances. My uncle passed, but it was good getting out to see family, and some of my family's actually here right now, from London. But I got to check off a bucket list item in the midst of like kind of seeing family, and in the midst of seeing family, in the midst of like the funeral and everything. I got to go to an Arsenal match, so that was a bucket list item we talked about during like sport when we were talking about sports and some of our bucket list items. I got to do it and it was incredible. So that was a really high as well. Um, yeah, on a personal side, I would think those are kind of the major things. Main thing being that I feel like I've grown, and obviously there's always more room to grow, but I feel like I've learned a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I think, learning and growing, especially, in in the good moments and the bad moments, that's what you got to do. Otherwise, it's like bad moments are only a waste if you don't learn from them. That's kind of a phrase I've heard a bunch.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree, and yeah, on the personal side, thank God for my health, my family's health. Um, a lot of my friends and family, and us, Team Extropian, we're like friends and family as well. We're all healthy and everything, so that's a definite bonus. Thank God for that. Um, so yeah, on the personal side, um, yeah, we both accomplished some things. I'm really happy with your disc golf. I'm excited to see where that goes next year. And obviously, we'll do a podcast. Our next one's going to be about goals for 2024 and kind of planting a flag in the ground there. Um, so on the business side now, um, highs and lows there as well, just like typical life. Um, what would you say some of the let's start with the lows. What would you say some of the lows were and some of the things that we kind of put out there that didn't happen? And I guess afterwards we both can talk about that and then discuss like maybe why they didn't happen and inform the audience on like what we may have been able to do better or what may have hindered us from accomplishing it.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think, the biggest low was probably just, not getting the investment we were looking for yet. Um, it's kind of something that I would say is hindered a little bit of, the getting to the timelines that we're looking to get to, like,
Hmm.
um, and it's kind of a direct result, like that caused some of the other goals to not happen. One of our goals was getting the product out there, that was kind of contingent on getting the investment first. So there's a lot of things that kind of follow, like dominoes that didn't fall
Yeah,
because the first domino didn't fall. The first domino being the investment. So I would say that was the biggest one. But I do think in the same breath, you know, talking about it can definitely be viewed as a negative, but it can be viewed as a positive too. I mean, we've gotten a lot of great feedback on when we've talked to investors and how we can, move forward and what we can do differently, how we can, new leads that we can kind of look into. And I have to shout out, Matthew and Ricky. Both of them have been, excellent about trying to explore every avenue they can to get us to where we need to be. And at the end of the day, it's like even a little bit of a delayed version. I feel like we're still so ahead of where we wanted to be. Um,
hmm.
and where where we think our competitors are and stuff, that there's still plenty of time for us to get in there and make a difference the way that we've always talked about.
So yeah, let's talk about the investment. Like we'll go through more lows, but the investment. Why did it? Why did? What could we have done differently? Um, for myself, I think we've talked about it on previous podcasts. Um, Number one, not getting something in right, like not getting something done on legally on legal paperwork, like doing stuff via a handshake deal. And that's a lesson I'll uh, share with anybody is like you can meet people and they can be the friendliest people in the world. They can be it could be your best friend, and in business you it's like your professor that you had. Trust no one. Um, a lot of times you'll meet people and they'll, give you a song and dance. And that's what the way the world works, just in general. You know what I mean? Everybody's trying to sell something. And at the end of the day, people have their own, they're doing it for their own purposes. And a lot of instances, I guess you would say. Like majority, everything is a system. You're selling something and you're trying to receive something in return. So, a lot of people will sell themselves, and until you get a signature on paperwork, you can't hold anybody to anything. They can pull out, they can change terms, they can um, they can say they never said it. You can record it. You know what I mean? It's just best to get things on paper. That was number one. Number two is like if you're not seeing something going somewhere, you're not seeing a deal, or you're not seeing a process being followed, or something moving. It's just best to either just cut bait, or make sure that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. That you're putting multiple eggs in multiple baskets, and you're you know, kind of doing what we're doing now, which is exhausting our resources and networking more and talking to more people. And it also makes sense too to find the right strategic fit. You know what I mean? I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they put the investor. They they reference the investor and company relationship as a marriage. You got to think of it as like a ten year marriage. So you want to make sure, same way you get married to somebody, you're marrying the right person. You want to get the right fit for that person you're going to be working with on a day-to-day basis for 10 years. You know what I mean? So that was another thing that I, keep in mind as well, is just making sure you find that right fit. But yeah, so I think why it didn't happen. Why it could have potentially happened sooner. It may not have happened sooner. You just don't know. But I think on my part, doing a better job of just not putting full trust in people that, and I'm not saying anybody's bad or anything. It's just business. But not putting your full faith and trust in your eggs in one basket, and then just kind of sticking around too long.
And
Because anybody can pull out at any moment, and then you're kind of stuck at that point.
I think too that that's something that definitely occurs in business. Business all the time. It's like the number one rule in business is get things in writing, because until you have something in
Yeah.
writing, it's not there. And even my mom is dealing with that right now with some of the things that she's doing. So
Hmm.
um, it's a tough lesson to learn for sure. But it's one that once you've learned it, you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to make that mistake twice. Um, but at the same time, I completely agree with what you're saying too about exhausting all the options, not putting your eggs in one basket. In general, I think that's something that not even from the perspective of, oh, this person might, pull out or change their mind or whatever, but even from the perspective of the first offer you get might not be the
Hmm.
best offer. So if you're exploring different options and talking to different people, you might get one offer that's like, it's like being in the Shark Tank. The first offer that comes in from Mark Cuban might not be your best offer. You might get another one from Lori that's half the equity or something like that. It's like, so just gotta put yourself in front of enough people that you can get a clear picture of, hey, like, okay, this is what we're being offered. This is what you know what's there, and also being transparent about that. You don't want to like be schemy about it, but saying like, hey, you're not the only person interested in this, and
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. I will say too, though, and this is going back to the the deal and everything. Um, the deal was nice. It was sweet up front. You know what I mean? But then if the deal's sweet, you get that signature on paper. Like if two parties are committing to something, then you get it on paper. The deal's sweet, then make it happen. But if you don't make it happen, then terms start changing, and oh, the potential, the the bigger picture, the potential of it. They, people will start wanting more, and like it just get the damn signature from the get go. You know what I mean? If you like what you're hearing, they like what they're hearing. You put it on paper, both parties agree. You can get the ball rolling with the signatures. You can both be held accountable to your word. You know what I mean? And not crapping on these dudes at all, because we still talk and we may still do something with them at the end of the day. But just a lesson learned was get it on paper. But I think the one thing, the positive spin of it, because there's always a silver lining in every dark cloud. Um, you know. it forced us to adapt. I know I haven't even shared half of the stories of things I had to do to adapt and push this thing forward even further. One day I'll share all of that with you, and you're gonna be like, "Holy shit!" Like, you did what? You had to do this. How did you? How the hell did you do that? But yeah, it forces you to adapt. It makes you, like always say, it's like scar tissue. You know what I mean? It's like a cut, and once that cut heals over, you just, you grow stronger, and so it forces you to adapt. It forces you to find what new ways to do things. It forces you to keep pushing, and that's what we did. And it's just like like you said, you learn and you grow from it, and you're like, hell no, I'm not doing this again. You know what not to do in the next situation arises. And then I think it also too just made me feel empowered. Like, damn, we got some really, the project that we have, because we started talking to people after that. Obviously, we've been talking since, and we've gotten amazing feedback. You know what I mean? Like, you have a unicorn company. If you do this right, you do what needs to be done. Deliver on these goals that you have. You have a unicorn company, and so from there, it's given me more confidence to talk to people. Like, we have some really, really good stuff here. Like, we have a great product. We have a great team. Um, you know, we should never talk to one person. There's too many people out there that would love what we're doing for us to ever settle on one group or one person, or even somebody says no to take. Because that's one thing I learned as well, is like, through the nose, I'm just like, it's made me like, well, kind of like, you're lost, because I know what the capabilities of what we're doing and how big it can become, and how transformational it is for just anybody that uses the technology. So I think that's what came about from that. So it's like, silver lining. We grew stronger. We pushed forward, and I know our value is only growing every day. So
And then
um,
tying
mhm,
back, going back to where we started this thread is, like the lows. Another
mhm,
low, and I kind of already mentioned this one, was not getting the product out there this year. Um, it was just not feasible given where, our current situation. But at the same point, I think that kind of leads us to talking about some of the highs, which is some of the adjustments we've made to the product. How,
yeah,
we've made some updates to the design. I know obviously the people on this that listen to this podcast, we haven't talked too much about the
yeah.
product and exactly what it is, but updating some of the sensors, making it so that the data that we're getting is going to be a little bit uh, stronger, a little bit more accurate. Making it so that when this thing does get out there, it's going to be the best version of what we want, and hopefully something that's going to be impactful to everyone who's using it. So,
hmm Yeah, no, and we'll talk more about it, because I think that's going to tie to our 2024 goals. But yeah, like, the product has gotten better. Like, we've essentially future proofed it and took some steps ahead that we weren't initially intending to take. And yeah, what we have now is like kind of leaps and bounds above where what we had before, and that I'm thankful for. So it's like, even though more time has passed and we didn't get anything out, um, it ensures that when we do get something out and we leave stealth mode, because that's the goal. We'll talk about in 2024, leaving stealth mode and popping on radars left and right. But um, the product is going to just be that much stronger, because we just took a little bit more time to refine it. And the beauty of it as well, though, Sean, is that I think we learned more about the process of making of producing the technology as well. Because going to another high is the relationships that we built. Um, Superior and Nscript and Ken, Ken Church and Mark and the whole group there, Bryce and Josh, phenomenal individuals and just super intelligent. And just sitting in the room with them and learning from them has been like eye opening. And it's like, when I first walked into those rooms, it was like they were speaking a completely different language. And now, like through like us talking, us like you doing research and coming back to me doing some of my own research, I can go into that room now and into a room with a lot of technologists and engineers and understand what they're talking about, what they're discussing, and I can give input. And you know it's always even better when you know more about your technology as well, and then you can kind of reference other technologies and understand how they were put together. And I think that's what we were able to do via this process of kind of continuing to engineer and make a better product. But the beauty of it all at the end of the day is like we're close to that final version of this, the final implementation of this version of the technology. Um, we'll probably still refine it here a little bit, but we're getting close to like just that final look and feel of it at this point in time. So that's definitely a huge high.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think, like you said, the relationships we've built, and then just the progress that we've made in manufacturing. To having a better understanding of, okay, what is this process going to look like? Who do we need to be working with? You know, what are some of the costs associated with that? It's been answering things that were in the past like question marks or unknowns, and getting answers where at least now we know, okay, this is what it's going to do, this is what it's going to take, this is um that's a huge step, and something that really has occurred in 2023, answering some of those final questions that were before. It was, oh, let me get back to you on that. Now it's like, this is the answer. I think that's, and it helps confidence wise. It helps, future planning. It helps with every aspect of the business. Pitching to investors, all of it is kind of impacted by just knowing what's going on, and what you need to know to get you through. So
Yeah. Another high on the same level of like relationships with Imperial and Script. Ken, Mark, Bryce, Josh, the entire team phenomenal. And I mean amazing, amazing engineers, brilliant minds. So even being in the room with them is incredible. But also to Georgia Tech, I think our relationship got quite a bit stronger with them as well. With Yao and his group, and yeah, we've had more discussions with them, and I think we'll talk about that going into 2024. But I think we developed that relationship even better, and a partnership even more with them. I think that's a definite high.
yeah, and then another high that I'm surprised you haven't mentioned yet is more patents, I believe.
I was going there. I was gonna go
Okay,
there.
you're going there. Okay, okay. I don't want to steal your thunder then. Go ahead. Tell the people.
No, you were part of it, so and again, thank you for all your help on that. Let me go to a real high, like kind of. We'll go back to the patents. Is you like? I have to say, like you as a right hand man, helping me out. You know what I mean? And us going through some of the struggles and everything. It's like I'm a tying a low and a high, and I'm just we said we're being real here. Um, a low that I think I've had, and this is me as a leader. I'm not putting this on anybody else. Is not getting the most out of some people. You know what I mean? Not getting the most out of some team members. I kind of would hope that certain people would be a little further along as a part of the team and a little more hands on, and would I don't know, just be more of an integral part and playing a more of a role. Like I kind of kind of how it is, Sean. When I brought you in, and when I bring anybody in, it's always like craft the role that you want with the company. Now's the time to this is your future, this is your company. Do what you know, do what's necessary to help us push this thing forward. At the same time, you're pushing your career forward, you're pushing your livelihood forward. What I mean. It's look at yourself now, like, and how much you've learned, and how much you've grown, and how many tools you're able to say you have in your belt. Um, but unfortunately, maybe I wasn't able to inspire people. Maybe as a leader, I wasn't. I didn't lead the right way. I don't know what exactly it is, but that I think is definitely one of the biggest lows for me is wanting. I feel like wanting more from people than maybe they wanted from themselves, and it's unfortunate. But silver lining in the dark cloud, I it's you've pushed harder, you've grown more, you've been more of a even more of an asset than you were last year, and it's just getting stronger. The partnership and relationship getting started stronger, and in turn, it's making the product better, making the company move more efficiently. So I have to thank you for that definite high on your part, and the unfortunate low on the other end.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I think I totally, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It's one of those things where it's like you can only do so much, and um but I'm glad with the progress that I've made. I'm glad with the progress that you've made as, founder, CEO. I think we've both kind of grown into the roles a little bit more. At this point, I'm a year into my role as COO. You're a few years into CEO, or maybe more than a few at this point. Uh, but yeah, I think you're constantly learning, you're constantly evolving, as we all try to be. And I think the best thing that you can do is just keep learning and just not be okay with, like, oh, this is like, I know this now, like I'm good. I'm you know I'm done learning. It's like if you ever say that you're done learning, then you need to find a new job, because you're never done. You should never be done learning in any aspect of life.
Hmm.
Unless you're someone with a photographic memory and that level, then okay, then fine. Maybe you will eventually be done learning if you read all the books. Uh, but yeah, I think I appreciate the kind words for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Back to the patent. Super high. Yeah, we got another one through the door, and thank you for your help on that. Thank you, Roy. I already shouted you out, but I can't shout you out enough. Thank him for helping us out there. Thank you also, Michael Swan. That's another relationship we developed. Um, securities attorney that steered me away from um, potential wrong aspects of deals that guided me and was like a friend and overseer. And like we have pit bulls on this team, which is I love. We have Matthew, we have Dan, we have Gino, and then Swan is another pit bull. You know what I mean? He's no nonsense guy. So that was another high because yeah, we could have landed in some pitfalls, but he helped us avoid those. But yeah, the patent. Yeah, we got that through, and another notch in our belt. And then I'm really excited and about what we're doing now, what we're about to turn into Roy, which is the so we had our patents now that are like kind of the immediate that we got two across, and we have one more that was put in that hopefully by next year we should be getting around in 6 months from probably what early December. Hopefully we get that one in, so that will be our third. We have another one acquiring that we'll hopefully get in, but also to this one that we're doing now is like kind of like the future. You know what I mean? This is what we're going to evolve into, and it just I'm really excited about it. Like I was telling Sean previous to this call, I just wake up in the middle of the morning, like 2 o'clock this morning. I woke up and I'm just ideas just started generating for this new thing, and just putting it on paper. It just I don't know. It just excites me. Like it's no matter how crazy of a day I'm having, or if like something bad's happened, if I think about this patent and what it's gonna do for our company and where it's gonna take us, essentially, um, it brightens my day. I don't know. It's weird. It's just the craziest thing because it's just I just know how big it can be and how big it's going to become and where it's going to take us. So that definite high is, and I think even going a step beyond that is when we started talking about it. We started talking about it, and we had that one call where we were going back and forth, generating ideas, and we just like, damn, this. imagine if you could do that. And we're like, we need to record this this meeting, and then I'm like, we're right, do another patent on it and get everybody in the team involved in some capacity. Just get it out there, get it in Roy's hands, and make it happen. But like, just knowing the possibilities behind it, I feel like when I first had the vision for the company and what it could become, this takes it a step further than that. Like, I'm super pumped about it. Like, even thinking about it, I get chills.
Yeah, maybe in a few years we'll have to post some of these recorded brainstorming sessions. After we've already cornered the market, and then we're not revealing any secret sauce or anything. But yeah, those calls are always fun to be on. And it's like crazy how you can get really into it and everything.
It's
But no, the
truly
pat,
like a flow state. Like,
yeah, hundred
it's
percent.
really a flow state.
But yeah, the patents were huge. Getting our second one, soon to be acquiring, hopefully the third, and the one we're working on now. I completely agree with you. I think it's going to be another big step and another patent that people are going to look at in the future and be like man, like you were ahead of the game with this one, kind of thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and I think was there any other we talked about some things that we're gonna some things we're gonna talk about that we want to do better or do differently for 2024. I think we're gonna save that for next week's episode, kind of a looking forward kind of episode. This was more of a reflection of 2023. But Ricky, any more thoughts on 2023, or what if you had to give 2023 a score on 1 to 10, how you felt like we did? What are you thinking?
If I had to give a 1 to 10, it'd be probably a six. Probably a six. How about yourself?
I'd probably put it in there too. I think in terms of accomplishing some of the things we wanted, we're more on the lower side. But as far as learning from some pitfalls and setting ourselves up for future success, I think we're on the higher side. So it's kind of I would say it falls right into that range of that six. I would say it's right below a seven, so like anywhere 5 to 6, somewhere in there. Um,
I will say the month of December has been phenomenal. So like, I feel like we're carrying like some really strong momentum from December going into 2024. Um, just even the
hell yeah.
last 2 weeks, like some of the advancements that we've made, and yeah, it's even yesterday was a big day for us. Rolling into 2024. Um, I think also to the highs, we made a lot more. Going back to a high, making contacts. Nick Sanders and Julian, and I think the networking. I mentioned it before, but like to thank a lot of people. Another high, sorry, is our some of our athletes. Chris got a belt. What was that? 2022. He still has his belt, so 2023
Another
has his
belt.
belt. And Bree got a win. Bree's looking phenomenal. You know, it's our athletes Andre and Omid and coaches Ronnie and EJ. Our relationships have all gotten stronger as well, and looking to the future for that as well. So that's 2023 was a great year for that. Even getting to train here and there, I'm gonna do it more consistently, but training with the team a little bit and Ronnie. Very light right now, but going forward a little strong. But yeah,
Yeah, I completely agree.
yeah. So hopefully your 2023 was great, eventful. We'll be getting into 2024 in the next episode, but want to wish everybody a happy new year. Be safe out there. Whatever you're doing out there for the new year to bring it in. Do it in with peace and love, with family, with loved ones, and let's hope for a better 2024 for all of us. So with that being said, comment, like, subscribe, continue to follow us on our journey, continue to look out for any news on our product, and like we said, we'll be revealing more in 2024. So that being said, we'd like to thank you guys for joining us on this episode again, and hope you guys have a blessed weekend. Be safe out there.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.